What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home? A very good evening and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
As Udayana discount, enjoy up to 70% off from Vikramaharchi.
Opposition voices concern over not summoning the COPE committee.
තිබෙන වගකීමට අනුකූල නොවන විදියට හැසිරීම මුළු කෝප් සභාවම කඩාකප්පල් විය යුතුද?
පාර්ලිමේන්තුව නැවත කැඳවන්න වැඩපිළිවෙල සකස් කරොත් මේ කමිටු සියල්ලම අවසන් කරනවා.
Ruling party opposes opposition leaders questioning. Fuel prices revised, but no revision in transport fares. Mervyn Silva set on a new political journey.
ආතික ධනය මංකොල්ල කාපු ලෑස්තුවක් අපිට හම්බෙලා තියෙනවා. උඹලත් ලෑස්තු යල්ලා මන්නාරමේ ගිහිල්ලා නඩු අහනකන් ඉන්න. වැලිකට හේදාන්නේ යන් ලෑස්තු යන්න.
Pastor Jerome Fernando remanded. World AIDS Day commemorated today.
HIV සම්ප්‍රේෂණයේ සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම වළක්වා ගන්නට හැකියාව තියෙන බව දැනට සායනික පරීක්ෂණ මගින් ලෝකයේ තහවුරු කරලා තියෙනවා.
Newsfirst headlines. Main sponsor.
As Udayana discount, enjoy up to 70% off from Vikramaharchi.
Starting off with news here at home, the Constitutional Council has approved the appointment of Senior Deputy Inspector General of Police, Ms. Deshabandhu Tendakon, as Acting Inspector General of Police. This was confirmed by Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abewardana.
Senior Deputy Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tendakon was appointed by the President for a period of 3 months as Acting Inspector General of Police. This appointment was forwarded to the Constitutional Council and the appointment was approved by the Council, which met today.
Views were expressed in Parliament today regarding the disruption of the work of the COPE committee. MP Dasiri Jayasekara said that he also raised concerns about the matter.
Not only the SLC, many other institutes were to be summoned to the COPE committee during this budget period. Now the COPE meetings do not take place. No institution is summoned either. The chairman is not even in the parliament. SLC was summoned for 3 days. Therefore, I have doubts with regard to the behavior of the COPE chairman. Should the behavior of the chairman not be in accordance with the responsibility assigned to him in the COPE committee, I think that sometimes the creation of these confusing situations raises the reasonable suspicion that there is a hidden agenda behind these decisions.
නිසා මට හිතෙනවා සමහර විට මේ ව්‍යාකූල තත්ත්ව නිර්මාණය කිරීමම මෙම තීන්දුව తీරනවල යටවුමනාවක් තිබ්බද කියන සාධාරණ සැකය මතුවෙනවා. අපිට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ මේකයි.
The problem we have is this. If the chairman of the COPE committee is doing this and can shut down everything, what is the future of the COPE committee? Honourable Speaker, the next question for us is that the Parliament will be adjourned after the 13th, after the budget. I suspect that you will plan to wait till then to recall these committees and the Parliament, and by that time, these committees will no longer exist.
වැඩපිළිවෙල සකස් කරොත් මේ කමිටු සියල්ලම අවසන් කරනවා.
මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් අපි
The members of the COPE committee can make the decision about appointing a new chairman. They can decide who they wish to work with. That's a different matter. They need to get it together. The other issue is that we should convene the COPE committee meeting and have a discussion regarding this, and we should conclude this today or tomorrow.
මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් සාකච්ඡාවක් තියෙන අද හෝ හෙට දවසේ අපි මේක අවසන් කරන්න.
ස්ථාවර නියෝග අඩුව
According to the standing orders, 2 presidents cannot be appointed to the COPE committee. You cannot have one chairman for cricket and another for the others.
එහෙම දාන්න බෑ.
තාවකාලිකව සභාපතිවරයෙක් පත් කර ගැනීමේ හැකියාව සභාපතිවරු මන්ත්‍රීවරුන්ට තියෙනවා.
දැන් තියෙන්නේ ආරම්භක අවස්ථාව නෙවෙයි. දැන් තියෙන්නේ සභාපති.
Now this is not the beginning. Now there is a COPE committee appointed by a chairman. Then it is not possible to reappoint a chairman just because an MP has joined. No position is left vacant without removing the individual. The position will not be vacant. What if they decide to keep Ranjit? That is why your intervention is needed. Summon the COPE committee as soon as possible under your chairmanship or under the initiative of the secretary. After that, let's decide what to do.
තීරණය තමයි ගන්න වෙන්නේ.
Today's parliament session heated up after the opposition leader raised a series of questions understanding orders 27-2.
අද දවසේ මේ මොහොතේ සිදුවෙන බරපතල ඛේදවාචකයක් ගැන
I wish to reveal a serious matter. 3 LED screens, each with a dimension of 60 into 30 feet, have been ordered for the Pallakale, Dambula and R. Premadasa cricket stadiums. The tender was opened on the 14th. However, a portion of the funds were released on the 13th. That figure is $29,000. The tax for this is around 6.5 million, which is less than the proper amount. The 3 LED screens are valued at $150,000. The VAT was increased from 15% to 18%. The customs under invoicing these are depriving the state of its due revenue. There is an attempt being made to take away the LED screens that were brought after under invoicing the value. These are the images.
LED screens galogane yanna. Custom එක rate කරනවා. මෙන්න පින්තූර. මෙන්න හොරකමේ පින්තූර.
දැන් ගරු කතානායකතුමනි
Sri Lanka Customs is acting on this. Responses will be given to all questions asked under Standing Orders 27/2. However, there is a new trend being used in Parliament, and that is 27/2. It is used to raise more issues.
ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී අයිති අහිමි කරමින්
The government has delayed the local government elections and is doing away with the people's democratic rights. On what basis did the president say that the election would be delayed until 2025?
පසුගිය දිනක ප්‍රකාශ කරේ මොන පදනමක් තුලද
27 දෙකකට ප්‍රශ්න දෙකක් ඇහුවද කියලා මොකද ඉස්සෙල්ලත් එකක් ඇහුවා මොනවාද ක්‍රිකට් සම්බන්ධව 27 දෙක යටතේ ප්‍රශ්න දෙකක් අහන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා එතුමා දෙකක් ඇහුවද කියලා ගරු කතානායකතුමනි
Speaker, have you introduced a new standing order? We cannot proceed like this. If there is an urgent issue, the opposition leader can raise it at any time. Instead of saying whatever he wants, the morning session of the parliament is like a play. Under what standing orders are you asking this?
ඔබ අහන්නේ මොකද්ද 27 දෙක යටතේ ඒක විතරක් අපිට උත්තරේ තීරණයක් දෙන්න
මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තු සම්ප්‍රදාය පිළිබඳව
There is something called parliament tradition. Those who read the Erskine May book on parliamentary traditions are well aware of it. Those who can read can understand it. Erskine May had made it clear on the priority given to the opposition leader to raise questions. I will table it for the Hansard.
මම ඒක හැන්සාඩ් ගත කරනවා
හැබැයි ගරු කතානායකතුමනි හැම දවසකම
Speaker, every single day we are speaking of all other matters except for the budget and complex economic issues. The economic issue is very complex. We need the support of the entire parliament to solve it. So let us debate the budget on the allocated days.
අපි ඒ සඳහා වැය කිරීම කරමු කර කතානායකතුමනි
විපක්ෂ නායකතුමාට ලබා දීලා තියෙන විශේෂ වරප්‍රසාදය එතුමා අවබෝධිතා කළයි කියලා තමයි මටත් හැඟෙන්නේ. එතුමා ඒ තත්ත්වය අපි වළක්වන්න කටයුතු කරමු. අපි වළක්වන්න කටයුතු කරමු. ඒ වෙනුවෙන් අවශ්‍ය කරන ස්ථාවර නියෝග සංශෝධනය අපි නුදුරේම පටන් ගන්නවා.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා ක්‍රිකට් එකේ හොරයක් පෙන්නලා දෙනකොට මම
fraud at Sri Lanka cricket is exposed. Those who came to the against it are panicking. I will speak in state revenue.
මම කතා කළේ රාජ්‍ය ආදායම ගැන
එතනදී විමර්ශනය
There is no issue with commenting if the investigations are not taking place in a proper manner. If that is the case, there are other investigations taking place. If a question is produced under the 27/2 and if that is being used to waste the time of the parliament by leading to other matters, we as ministers will have to decide whether to answer or not.
I raise this because there is an attempt to remove the LED screens that were under invoiced. The state is losing revenue.
රාජ්‍ය ආදායමට මුදල්
I spoke about an economic issue.
බොහොම ස්තුතියි ඔබතුමා ප්‍රශ්න ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නේ
ඔබතුමාට
You cannot do as you please. You must follow the standing orders. He can raise 10 questions and we will respond to one. The other matter can be put for tomorrow.
පුළුවන් 10ක් අපි 10න් එකයි උත්තර දෙන්නේ ප්‍රශ්නේ නැහැ අපිට දෙවෙනි දේ ඒව නැත්නම් හෙට දිනේට දාන්න හැමදාම උදේට ඇති වී තිබෙන මේ දේවාලයේ නැටුම මේක දේවාලයක් කරන්න එපා
Former cricket captain of Sri Lanka, Arjuna Ranatunga, says that he will never associate with thieves.
Today marks the 60th birthday of Arjuna Ranatunga. Arjuna Ranatunga visited the Jayasree Mahabodhi in Anuradhapura and called on the Atamasthanaadipati, Most Venerable Pallegama Hemratnathero this morning.
දවසකට කරලියට ගියා. ඒක බෝඩ් එකට දවසකට ගියා. ඉහිලීට පස්සේ ඉතින් නඩුව යන්න උනා නම් ක්‍රිකට් වල තිබ්බේ ටිකක් බලන්න ඒක තියෙන දෝෂෙද ටික හාමුදුරන්ට හොඳයි ඒක ටිකක් බලන්න.
I especially gave the most venerable Pallegama Hemaratna Thera a file containing all the corruption documents in cricket. I handed everything over to him, including Kusala Sarojani's report and the frauds during the tour to Australia. The cricket administration should take the responsibility for the current state of Sri Lanka cricket. We were able to unite in parliament and decide that they were to blame for this. However, these people aren't willing to leave their posts. We have not received such an invitation. It is up to him whether we receive an invitation. As a matter of principle, I do not stand with thieves.
Private bus operators say they cannot reduce fares, though diesel prices were reduced. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation revised fuel prices with effect from midnight yesterday.
The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, in its latest price revision, reduced the price of a litre of auto diesel by 27 rupees to 329 rupees. The price of a litre of petrol 92 octane was reduced by 10 rupees to 346 rupees. The price of a litre of kerosene was reduced by 2 rupees to 247 rupees. However, the price of a litre of petrol 95 octane was increased by 3 rupees to 426 rupees. The price of a litre of super diesel was increased by 3 rupees to 434 rupees. Lanka IOC announced that it would be revising the prices of its fuel products to meet the levels of the CPC prices. Will bus fares be reduced following the diesel price reduction?
Bus fares can be legally revised if the fuel prices is amended by 4%. Therefore, the present price revision is 1.5%. Hence, we cannot reduce bus fares. We paid an extra 15 rupees per litre of diesel. For the past 2 months, we were operating at a loss. Even if the price is reduced by 27 rupees this time, we cannot reduce the fares. If we are given a considerable price reduction, we will definitely opt to reduce the fares.
What is the position of the Three-Wheeler Association?
We cannot increase or decrease fares monthly. With the fuel price revision, there is no mechanism for it. We cannot reduce fares even if the petrol price was reduced. We have to have better regulation on three-wheelers and a proper mechanism for the industry.
The All Ceylon School Children Transport Association said that there will be no change in their charges.
When VAT is imposed, the price of grease will increase. We will have to increase charges from January.
More news will come your way after this break. Stay tuned.
Tharu Painted discounts. Enjoy up to 30% off on frames and sunglasses this Christmas with Vikramarachi Opticians.
A meeting was held between President Ranil Wickremesinghe and the Prime Minister of Greece, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, during the COP28 or the World Climate Action Summit held in Dubai. During this meeting, the President extended an official invitation to the Prime Minister of Greece to visit Sri Lanka with the hope of establishing close relations between the two countries.
The COP28 or World Climate Action Summit held in Dubai, which is focused on dealing with climate change, is being attended by a group of world leaders, state and private sector representatives, environmentalists and scientists. The summit will be held from today to the 12th of December in Expo City, Dubai. Sri Lanka is scheduled to present 3 proposals in the summit, including the climate justice reforms for endangered and developing countries.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe speaking at the 28th session of the Conference of Parties or COP28 advocated for climate justice accessible to all nations and proposed a resolution for a climate justice forum.
Sri Lanka will propose a resolution for a climate justice forum, which was agreed upon at the 5th forum of the Ministers of Environmental Authorities of Asia and Pacific, to be moved at the UN Environmental Assembly of 6 February 2024. The Climate Justice Forum will provide us a platform for constructive and proactive engagements. The Secretary General of the UN highlighted that the era of global boiling has arrived. The enemy is at the gates. We are still procrastinating. We are still forming our battalions to take the fight to the enemy. Therefore, this fortnight is critical. It will determine whether we are capable of providing leadership. Let us prove we can do so by action and delivery. Sri Lanka is committed to 1.5 degree Celsius limit. We are facing a drastic situation. To avoid disaster, we must think outside the box. We must invest in the tropical belt to tackle the triple planetary crisis. Therefore, Sri Lanka and other concerned countries will convene a panel to report on the Tropical Belt Initiative, a multi-sector program distributed not only among the whole tropical region, but the whole world. As the current chair of the Indian Ocean Rim Association, Sri Lanka is focusing on the interdependence between the Indian Ocean and climate change. The Tropical Belt Initiative and the Indian Ocean IORA program combined will form the largest global sink for carbon sequestration, addressing the climate change needs, up-to-date scientific knowledge, and the effective use of these findings. Therefore, at COP27, I propose to establish an international climate change university for capacity building and advancing research necessary to contribute to the crucial efforts to limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. We will be operationalizing the ICCU next year.
Former Minister Mervyn Silva participated in an event held in Paliagoda today.
Former Minister Mervyn Silva attended a program organised to pay floral tributes to the statue of Gunga Legoda Banda in Paliagoda. Former Governor, President's Council Maitri Gunaratne also attended this program. During this event, Mervyn Silva expressed views regarding upcoming political programs.
අද දෙනෝ ප්‍රතිඥාවක් මේ ඉස්සර ඊට කතා කරන්නේ නැද්ද මොකද ප්‍රතිඥාව මම රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ ජනාධිපතිවරයාට කියනවා
I will give a promise today for the future, and that is I'm telling President Ranil Wickremesinghe we are also old friends in the party, and I was also done wrong because of him, but that is okay. We all lost. He also lost. Gotabaya Rajapaksa was appointed to cover up all the Rajapaksa's crimes and advocate for them. Even when I was a cabinet minister, I always said that Basil Rajapaksa is a thief. They all colluded and appointed a president to ensure their survival. I'm revealing to the country and the world, if this government robs all our resources and sell to a foreign country, the first step of our political party when we are elected will be to protect and reclaim our country's resources. And we will also punish the people responsible for the selling of our resources from the president to every other signatory. Secondly, I am from Beliatta and so are the Rajapaksas. They did not have money. My uncle is the one who spent on them. Now they are millionaires abroad. I'm telling the Rajapaksas, you have been proven guilty before the Supreme Court, but your punishments are still pending. Our second principle is that not only the Rajapaksas, we have received a list of people responsible for the destruction of the country. We will bring all of them to justice. We are warning them to be ready because they will be punished not in Velikada but in Mana. Thirdly, I am respectfully asking. I was a member of parliament for 20 years, and for my luck, Basil Rajapaksa did not give me nomination. Under the guise of parliamentary privileges, they are insulting the respected judges, lawyers, doctors, professors, as well as the politicians and the common people who are angry with them. This has now become a pattern which needs to stop. I'm going to bring a proposal to Parliament that when we come to power, we will punish everyone responsible for all of this misconduct. This government has come again and is increasing taxes to an unbearable level, hiding behind the guise of the IMF. Today, the people are struggling to eat one meal a day. They have lost all hope. There is hatred towards all 225 members of parliament. All the political parties have contributed to the bankruptcy of this nation. The people are asking for a new political force.
A protest was held today with the participation of Samaki Janabalawegaya parliamentarian Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca in Kalutara. The protest was staged based on the theme of unarmed non-partisan struggle towards a people's revolution.
We are continuously creating a wave of protests against the government's oppressive rule against the people. We are advocating for a people's revolution, for the people to stand up and end the era of people serving politicians. They should first be able to identify thieves. They should be able to identify true politicians. We are doing this to get the people back on track. There was an Aragale in our country. That Aragale served a purpose. The struggle was then suppressed. We are rallying together to help the people of the Aragale to start off from where they stopped and to create a people's revolution.
අරගලෙන් අතරමං වෙච්ච කට්ටියට අඩිතාලමක් දාලා දෙන්න ඉදිරියට සමාජ විප්ලවයක් කරන්න අපි පෙළගැසෙමින් සිටිනවා.
Those were the memories made over 25 days. The 25th day of the 7th edition of the Gammadda Door-to-Door program concluded today. Our Gammadda teams visited Kurunegala, Munragala and Kilinochchi districts today.
There was an outpouring of grievances when the Gammadda team visited the villages of Henamulla, Vettaragoda, Veherabanda village. Houses which were made after years of hard work have almost collapsed due to damage caused by the construction of the road. This is a dire problem for no less than 650 families.
මෙච්චර විනාශයක් උනේ බයයි ඉතින් මින්න කකෝයි වෙලේ හරි කඩා වැටෙද්ද කියලා වහින කාලෙට එහෙම අර හිටියට සතුටෙන් නෙමෙයි ඉන්නේ අපි මේ ගෙවල් වල සමුදියේ තියෙනවා අපිට ඒ අරගෙන 50000 මම ටික අරගෙන තමයි අපි හැදුවේ මේ පල්ලේ ඇලෙන් වැලි ගොඩ දාලා මේ මිනිස්සු දෙන්නෙත් නැහැ හින්දා අපි කරෙන් ඇද්ද මේ වෙලදිගේ ඇදලා හිටන් තමයි අපි මේ මෙහෙම කරගත්ත ටික ඉන්න ඕනේ හින්දා මරණකම් ඉන්න කියලා දැන් ඒක නැති වෙගෙන යන්නේ අපිට මේ හයිවේ එක හින්දා.
The 27 families of Horombawa Ekamutugama had a common problem to share. This is the Anavilandankulam village in the Kilinochchi district. A group of people who were expecting a word of relief. A village of 400 families. They have to walk a long distance to get water. The villagers of Bipila, Dodangola spoke to the Gammadda team. The Dodangola-Nagala road, the stones and metal brought to construct the road in 2015 are just piled up. Yet the road is still not constructed. However, there was a grand ceremony to lay the foundation stone to initiate this project, a road which is used by students of 4 schools. The villagers requested those responsible to draw their attention to this issue.
මේ පාර තමයි යන්න තියෙන්නේ. මේක හදලා දෙන්න නැත්නම් දැන් කාටද කියන්නේ අපි? කන්න බොන්න ඉල්ලන්නේ නැහැ, රගියා ඉල්ලන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ඉල්ලන්නේ පාර විතරයි.
The Gammadda Door-to-Door teams for 2023 started this journey on the 7th of November 2023. Kaluthara, Jaffna, Trincomalee, Ratnapura, Polonnaruwa, Galle, Vaunia, Anuradhapura, Matara, Mana, Hambantota, Batiklo, Kandy, Mathale, Ampara, Badulla, Kegol, Colombo, Nuwara, Gampaha, Putlam, Mullathil, Kilinochchi, Kurunegala, Munragala. Gammadda is a movement in the hearts and minds of all Sri Lankans, big and small alike, as a program that brings about hope for the villages of Sri Lanka. The Gammadda movement goes to the village, inquires into the issues of the local population and launches projects to address those issues with the assistance of the people themselves. The actual needs of the people are identified by Gammadda with the assistance of experts from the University of Peradeniya and following a comprehensive study into the issues, submitting the final report to the United Nations at the first World Humanitarian Summit held in Turkey in 2016, was a special occasion. In 2022, the Watson Institute of Brown University and the Clinton School of the University of Arkansas chose gum method as a leading project in their research. At the opening ceremony of the 60th General Assembly of the ABU, held in South Korea in 2023, the guests were informed about Gum Mother. The 7th edition of the Gum Mother Door-to-Door program was launched at the Capital Maharaja Group's head office on the 7th of November 2023. This year too, the annual report is prepared with the data obtained from the Gum Mother Door-to-Door program in collaboration with the University of Peradeniya.
Made in Sri Lanka.
The ad hoc group of bondholders of Sri Lanka have welcomed progress on debt restructuring by the official credit group, but have expressed dismay over the lack of transparency. In a press statement to Newsfirst, the ad hoc group of bondholders of Sri Lanka said that it had taken note of the statements released by the official creditor group and the Finance Ministry of Sri Lanka on 29th November on the agreement in principle. It added that the terms of the agreement in principle reached between the Sri Lankan authorities and the OCC on one hand and China Exim Bank, an official sector creditor, on the other hand, on October 11, 2023, have not been shared. The group finds it regrettable that there remains such a significant lack of transparency on the part of official sector creditors, despite the group's efforts so far to act as a constructive counterparty. The statement noted that transparency between creditors is critical for the private sector to reach an agreement compliant with the parameters of Sri Lanka's IMF program's first review and one that provides fair and equitable debt treatment. Pastor Jerome Fernando, who was arrested by the CID, was remanded until the 13th of December by the 4th Magistrate today. Pastor Jerome Fernando was arrested this morning when he visited the CID to provide a statement as per an order issued by the Court of Appeals. After making a controversial statement, Pastor Jerome Fernando travelled overseas. While he was overseas, an appeal was filed on his behalf to the Court of Appeal seeking to prevent his arrest. Upon considering his appeal, the Court of Appeal ordered him to provide a statement to the CID within 48 hours of his return to the country. Pastor Jerome Fernando provided statements to the CID yesterday and today in accordance with that order. The World AIDS Day was commemorated today. This commemoration comes on the backdrop of 485 HIV patients having been identified within the first 10 months of this year.
What is HIV and AIDS? AIDS and HIV are two scenarios. While HIV is a virus, the disease caused by the virus is known as AIDS. When a germ is ingested, the white blood cells are responsible for the defense mechanisms of the human body, which fight against the germs. If HIV or the human immunodeficiency virus enters the body in some form, the defense mechanisms performed by the human body will slow down and perhaps stop entirely. AIDS is a condition that occurs when this virus is not identified and left untreated for a long period of time. By the time the virus is identified, the infected person's immune system could be severely compromised. However, a person infected with HIV now has the ability to avoid such a situation and live his or her life. If that is to happen, it is imperative that a proper testing is conducted and that the disease is identified early on. The reason for the spread of the HIV virus is due to the misconceptions society has about the virus and those infected. This could also be seen during the initial reports of the COVID pandemic. When many people were ashamed at having contracted the COVID virus, the health authorities even had to deploy the security forces to prevent its spread. The main obstacle that is faced when eradicating the HIV virus is such misconceptions still exist in the society. If in any situation a person contracts the HIV virus, the drugs can prevent it from becoming established in the body even after being exposed to HIV. And sometimes a person can pursue sexual relations with someone without knowing if they are infected with HIV. Preventive treatment can be obtained after such cases. The most important thing is that it should be obtained within 72 hours.
යම්කිසි රෝගියෙක් අප ළඟට පැමිණිලා HIV එයාගේ තත්ත්වය දැනගත්තාම ආසාදන තත්ත්වය.
When a patient comes to us to know their HIV status and if there are no other complications, we have the ability to start the treatment on the same day. While the medications should be taken as a single pill once a day, it is necessary to use these medicines throughout one's life. The medications should be taken in the right doses at the right time, and these medications prevent the virus from getting stronger and from multiplying over time. It has now been confirmed by clinical trials that if a person has low levels of the virus in their blood, they can completely prevent the transmission of HIV to his or her sexual partner.
The Ministry of Health has also taken steps to introduce a hotline for patients to know if they are at risk of sexually transmitted diseases, including HIV. It has been named as Know for Sure. This application will allow a person to fill in a questionnaire and it will reveal their risk of contracting HIV. Meanwhile, a march was also held today in Colombo to commemorate the World AIDS Day with the participation of more than 1,000 people. This year's theme was to empower the community and prevent AIDS.
Meanwhile, the expenditure overheads of the Ministry of Industry, Trade, Commerce and Food Safety were debated in the Parliament today. SJB MP Buddhika Patrina, a former Minister of Trade, expressed his opinion about the situation that has arisen regarding the registration of trademarks.
වෙළඳ අමාත්‍යාංශ ගැන කතා කරනකොට දැඩි අවධානයක් යොමු කරනවා මුතුමාට දෙන වෙළඳ ලකුණු ලියාපදිංචි කිරීමේ කාර්යාංශ. මම මේකේ අඩුපාඩු වංචා.
Talking about the Ministry of Trade, I would like to mention that you should pay special attention to the Trademark Registration Bureau under you. I have pointed out its shortcomings, fraud, corruption and other illegalities in it many times. We need to sign the Madrid Protocol immediately because we have not signed it as a country. Today we have to register a trademark of a certain company from country to country. At a time we are trying to save dollars, we have to make payments in dollars to all these countries. So I suggest you attend to this immediately. This protocol should be followed under the International Trademark Registration Treaty. We have followed many of the protocols that we have done. Regarding the environment, now the 1961 Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Service, we have followed many protocols like this. Therefore, I request from you that it is essential that we sign the agreement under this protocol as soon as possible. Whether you look at the sea route or the land route, we are at the center. In fact, at one time we used the Mantha port when it was the center of trade power in the Middle East region. Therefore, I would like to draw your attention to it first. Your ministry should focus more on international trade. We should hold trade fairs. Those activities should be spread throughout the country. But we must pay close attention to international trade. It is imperative that we collect the highest possible value in international trade.
හැබැයි ජාත්‍යන්තර වෙළඳාම පිළිබඳව අපි දැඩි අවධානයක් යොමු කළ යුතුමයි. ඒක අත්‍යවශ්‍යයි. ජාත්‍යන්තර වෙළඳාමේදී අපිට ලබාගත හැකි ඉහළම වටිනාකම් අපි එකතු කරගන්නවා.
Colombo made history today by opening its first ever eco-friendly ice skating rink. Newsfirst Hashini Patrina brings us the latest.
Sri Lanka is all set to witness a winter wonderland with the opening of the country's first ever eco ice skating rink here in Colombo. In a remarkable feat for environmental consciousness and recreational innovation, Colombo unveiled its first ever eco-friendly ice skating rink today.
We are so excited to be launching Sri Lanka's first eco ice rink, and in fact last year when we started, Ronali and I, we were just a tiny mini golf company downstairs at the premises, and now we've got the mini golf with more games plus the ice rink, Sri Lanka's first eco ice rink.
A lot of people would not have the opportunity to experience ice skating, and we're just so excited to bring it all to you right here in Colombo.
The ice skating rink will be marking a new era in recreational activities for the island nation. The rink is open to the public from today, and this experience is sure to be a welcome addition to Sri Lanka's entertainment scene.
The 50th death anniversary of Pablo Neruda, a Nobel Prize-winning poet from Chile who represented his country as a diplomat to Sri Lanka, was celebrated in Colombo today.
On the occasion of the 50th death anniversary of Pablo Neruda, Chilean poet and former diplomat who served in Ceylon, the Embassy of Chile, the High Commission of Sri Lanka in India, and the Department of Mass Communication of the University of Catalonia celebrated the occasion with his work.
Pablo Neruda is, without any doubt, one of the best poets in the Spanish language. It is recognized as that, and he has an extensive life. We are also happy to be able to distribute some books. This was an effort done jointly by the embassy some years ago. We translated with the collaboration of a professor a part of the works of Neruda into the Sinhalese language, and for us it was important to do that in order to allow people to know more about our poet in the local language.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Do take care and good night.